Hey y'all, it's Jamie from Homesteading, and thank you so much for joining me today. Today I'm going to do something a little different, something that I haven't done before, but I'm very interested in having myself and my family try. As we all know, prices of things are going up, so if you can find a good deal on things, you want to be able to make it shelf stable. Well, I know a lot of people do can butter, but I have not done that yet, and I don't think it's an approved method, which just means it's not tested. So I'm gonna do the next best thing and make some ghee today. And I've got salted and unsalted, and I'm gonna mix the two together to make shelf stable butter, or ghee actually, because we're gonna remove the milk solids. And I've never done it before, so I'm looking forward to doing it. I love trying new things. If you've done this before, please let me know if you do it the same way I'm about to show you, or if you have other tips. I'm always interested in that. And if you're curious, I got these packs where it is $3.50 a pound at the moment, and that's really good for butter. So yes, we do use our freezer space for it, but if I can get the really good deals, I want to have some shelf stable as well. That way it's more protected if I have power outages. Today it's very dark because it is storming. I'm so happy about that, but it is dark in here. One of my dogs is very scared. She's always underfoot. She's one of those terrified thunder and lightning dogs. So you might hear her stomping around because she needs to be by mama. But anyway, let's jump right in. I'm going to start by putting my oven on 200. I have these jars here, and there's probably still a little bit of dampness in there because this was a new box of jars, so I went ahead and washed those with hot soapy water and rinsed it. So I'm going to get these going in my oven about 200 just so they warm up and burn off any of the liquid in there, because I don't want any liquid in this. Okay, I'm going to use this heavy bottom pot. It's a cast iron, a coated cast iron. You'll need your butter, of course, however much you're going to be doing. I don't recommend doing too much to begin with. Anytime you haven't tried something or haven't tasted something, you want to do a little bit smaller batch. So I'm going to do 4 pounds, which sounds like a lot, but I think I could go through what that will make even if we don't like it and not be a problem. I've also got this stuff ready. I've got cheesecloth over a sieve and a large Pyrex that we'll be pouring into. This cheesecloth is folded over twice, so I think just from the roll I have, that makes it like 4 layers thick. And I put the Pyrex measuring container in there with the glass jars that I'm going to be putting this in, so it can be heating up as well, just so it doesn't have any shock. And like I said, I'm going to use salted and unsalted, and I have been letting this sit out a little bit, so maybe it wouldn't take as long. And I'm going to go ahead and turn this up to high at the moment, and I am going to get as much of this butter off as I can, because I don't want to waste anything. Alright, let me get all this done and I'll bring you back in just a minute. So I already would do this differently. Instead of setting my butter out for any length of time, I would go straight from the fridge or even the freezer, although your melting time will increase, because I hate having to clean up these wrappers. But if you're using a good quality pot with a heavy bottom, you can see before I can get it all in, it's starting to melt. So I guess it'll save me a little bit of time in the melt process, but it's taking me extra time to scrape these. So I guess either way the time is going to be about the same. It just depends on, do you prefer waiting for butter to melt, or do you prefer scraping the little bits of butter off? Last box. And this can get very splattery because we do want to bring this up to a boil, so I have went ahead and put my apron on. Just a little FYI for you. Don't want grease all over our clothes. And I did turn the heat down a little bit, so I'm going to turn it back up. Now that I've caught up with the melting, I didn't want all of it to become liquidy while I was still putting butter in, and then have the ones that were still solid trying to catch up. So now that I've caught up, I can bring that temperature back up. And you at first want to absolutely have it on high because you do want to bring this to a complete boil. And from what I'm told, you'll hear a difference and see a difference in the different boils. We're going to have different boils that we're looking for. Alright, now I'll clean up this mess and we'll check this out. Alright, hopefully you can see a little bit better there. I am just going to melt all this up and get it to a boil. I do want to say I'm going to try to get a couple of projects done today, but I might break them up into 2 videos. That way it's easier to search. Has anybody heard of HP sauce? Well, if you know anybody British, then you might have, or if you're British yourself. My husband is from England, and for some reason he likes to have me make things that I've never tasted before. And so far he's been very pleased at what I've made, like steak and kidney pie. He really liked that one. Sausage rolls. So since he lives where we can't really find those types of things, I have to work out a way for him to have those things that he misses from home. So I think I'll be doing that next, and I'm probably going to do it in a separate video. That way I can find it and so can you. I think I'm going to can some of that HP sauce if I get enough of it, and make it shelf stable as well. So that shall be interesting if it tastes good. I mean, who knows what I'm going to make. It's kind of hard to make something you've never tasted before taste how it should when you don't know how it should taste. What you think? Have you done that? Have you made recipes where you have no idea what you're aiming for? It's been very interesting. Okay, I'm going to stop stirring this because we don't really need to. I just wanted to make sure that I didn't have any lingering chunks of butter. Everything's melted now. And I'm going to let this come to boil and I'll come back. Okay, things are starting to happen. We've got bubbles all over. And can you see there's a lot of foam? Well, that has a lot of the milk solids in it. You can scrape it off, or you can just let it go to the bottom. So it's so foamy I can't even get you to where you can see the butter, but we want to let it do this. And as it heats up and goes through, we will go through the clarified butter stage and then to the ghee stage. So just let it boil and don't walk away. Alright, it's really going now. So I have turned my heat down a little bit because we don't want it to burn. So I went from high to like 8.5, and it's maintaining that bubble. But you see the foam starting to go away. It looks a little different. And now these bubbles are teeny tiny. And we want it to stay going, but not burn. Let's see how it does on about 7. I think between 6 and 7 is usually what my pressure canner maintains at. So I'm going to go ahead and see if it'll do the same. That way we can have boilage and not burnage. So the plan is to get all the milk solids, which is why this melted butter is cloudy looking right now. It has all the milk solids in it, so we want all of that to go ahead and drop to the bottom. And you don't want to go to the bottom, because as the milk solids start to drop, you want them to stay down there and stick to the bottom of your pan. So if you do need to stir, I'm trying to stir just so you can see what it looks like, but don't go to the bottom, because you're going to scrape those milk solids back up to the top. And I'm going to just kind of keep this foam off the edges so it can also sink to the bottom. And I'll get back in a second. So it seems to be working well, leaving it about 6.5 where I keep my pressure canner, where it maintains the pressure. So that might be a little idea for what temperature for your own oven, if you pressure can, or even water bath, anything that holds a good high temperature for it to stay at this level of boil is about what you're looking for. And you can see some of the foam has come back. And I do recommend, if you have a pot this size, not doing more than 4 pounds, because it is splattering out around just a little bit. So if you want a little bit less cleanup, keep that in mind. You want at least half your pot for the sputtering and spitting of the butter. Okay, that's been going about 10 minutes, and it's starting to change in color. I don't know if you can tell, but the liquidy buttery part through here is definitely getting less cloudy and starting to be more like clarified butter. There's still quite a bit down there, but you just keep it going. And again, I'm just keeping the foam off the edges as best I can. And just keep watching your color. Alright, I want to show you, if I can. At the bottom of the pot, it kind of looks like soft cheese. So that's the milk solids. And you want them to do that. That's where you want them to go. You want them to go to the bottom of the pot, and you want them to get browned. Not burnt, just browned. You want all of it to go down there and stick to the bottom. And at this point, you're going to just keep checking those milk solids, because once they're browned, it is all done. So before they're brown, you're basically at clarified butter, and it smells lovely. Every once in a while, get just a lovely hint of delicious butter. And you saw I'm using just some regular store brand. It's not grass-fed or anything like that. If you're looking for cheap and shelf-stable, do that. If you're looking for good quality, I know there's a lot of purists who want just the grass-fed, like Kerrygold, high-quality butter, then go for it. It's your kitchen, your rules. Don't know if you can tell, but the butter itself looks a lot more golden. So I'm going to check this again. Being very careful not to pour it out the pot. And it is very much starting to brown on the bottom. And I can smell it. It smells like brown butter. That is a very good indication. I'm going to give it just a minute more. Alright, I'm going to call that done. As I've said before, I haven't done this. I'm following instructions. If you try this, please let me know how it goes. I will be doing a taste test. I'm going to take that off the heat now, turn off my burner, and I'm going to go ahead and get my jars out, and we're going to start getting this in the jars. Alright, got my sieve. try to get you where you can see. Either way, I feel like I'm gonna block you. So I'll do my best. And the light's gonna be wrong from this way, but we just gonna make it do. Okay, let me bring you in. See how lovely and brown that is? Not burnt, just brown, stuck to the bottom. And I only got a tiny bit in the cheesecloth. Watch to the end to see what we're going to try to do with this. And let's get these jars filled. And don't forget, if you did like me and put this in the oven, that this is going to be hot. I'm going to try to spread them out a little bit. Just pouring straight into the warm jars, straight out of the oven. And you're not going to worry about headspace, because you're not technically canning these. Although we will wipe the seals. And put a new ring on it. We would like it to seal. Ooh, I need one more. I think I'm going to get a bigger one. Alright, I went and got this size. And the house is pretty warm today, so, and this jar was completely dry, so I don't have to have it in the oven. Just remember your temperature differences. You don't want to put hot liquid like this into cold jars, because that's how you get shattering. And we're going to top all these up. Alright. That got quite a bit. I'm excited about that. So we got 1 pint and then 5 half pints. I wanted to do it in these mainly, but I didn't. All my other ones are still dry. I mean drying of the little ones. So I didn't want to try to put them in the oven to dry them off. I knew this one was dry. I can start with this one. But I'm going to go on to the next step now. And you can can these however you want. These are shelf stable even if you don't wipe the rims and seal. If you don't get a good seal, they're still shelf stable. Alright, got a bit of vinegar. Gonna go around because I know I for sure got butter on the edges, and I would like them to seal, but there's no chance of botulism in this from my research. Ooh, I know that one's gonna be hot, but it's so close to the top. And my pan is distorted. So I think well, we're gonna have to dodge that burner because that burner is still super hot. Any of them that are too close like this, I'm going to move them off because I don't want it sloshing butter or the ghee back onto my jar while I'm trying to wipe the edges. I'll wipe that one extra good because I'm pretty sure that's the one I dripped around. And that one too. But this just cuts the grease around the top. That way when you put your lids and rings on. I'm just going to use whatever they came with. Lids today. I might do a little bit more than fingertip types, and since we're not going to be processing these at all. I think that's a good way. I know a lot of people are having terrible trouble with ball and cur lid sealing. So this is one way to use them up when you get them new. So you're not just having to throw out the flats or hope they seal on a big canning project. How do you use them? Are you just a go for it and see what happens type of person with your lids, or are you brand specific at the moment? If so, what is a brand that's not let you down? I'd be interested to hear. Alright, I'm just going to finish these up and then I'll show you how they look. Alright, so there is the end product, and I say they took just a little over 30 minutes from start to finish, minus washing my jars and rinsing them and leaving them to dry a little bit. But 30 minutes and 4 pounds of ghee now is ready for the shelf. Even if they don't seal, they're still shelf stable. You can keep them in your cupboard after you open them. These need absolutely no refrigeration. And I'm looking forward to trying this once they cool off. And now let's move on and try something with the leftover milk solids that are in the bottom of the pan and in my cheesecloth. I know a lot of different countries will make things from this product into things. I've seen where somebody makes soup from it. I'm not too sure about that one or how they go about it, but I'm going to try to get as much of this off of here that I can, and then we'll get the stuff out of the bottom. And there is just not that much on here, so we'll just get whatever we can, which is good. You don't really want a whole lot in here because you want most of it stuck to the bottom of the pan, getting the color, which adds to the flavor of the ghee. And then this will just go in the trash. And you see, it's not burnt to the bottom, but it is browned. I kind of want to taste it on its own. I don't know if it's cooled off enough. That stuff smells lovely. It don't have any of the burnt smell to it. It just smells like lovely brown butter. So why waste it? So I found the simplest thing that I've seen people do with this that I could possibly find, because I like not wasting things, but I also like not spending all day doing it. So I'm going to try this out. That would be good in baked goods. It's a little salty since I did half and half, but it's not salty. So if you had like brown butter cookies or something you wanted to do, that's really good. Just remember that this is salty if you put it in your baked goods. So you don't need to add salt, most likely. Just go by what you did. Or if you wanted to make it just for baked goods, I'd probably do 1/3 of salted, or just none of it salted. Just do unsalted in general. But let me show you what I'm going to do. I think my kids are going to like this. I got some sugar. I put maybe 1.5 teaspoons. And this is going to vary on how big a batch you make versus how much I made. And then I've just got some regular cheap old cinnamon. Now I need to stir it and try it. Get my multi-tool. Give it a lovely stir. Mmm. Oh. My daughter is going to come home from school hungry today. We never have stuff like this in the house. You know what this already smells like? This smells like cinnamon toast. I'm tasting it for sweetness. I want to make sure it's nice and sweet to counteract the salt. And some more sugar. I think I'm probably up to 2 teaspoons now. But this smells like the fresh homemade cinnamon toast. So can you guess what we're going to do with it? That's right. I'm going to stick it in the fridge. And over the next week, my daughter can come home and just pop a piece of toast in the toaster and then just spread this all over the toast and have instant cinnamon toast. She's gonna love this. Alright, so we got 5 half pints of ghee and 1 pint of ghee, and I will come back in a little bit and we'll see if they all sealed. And if she feels up to it, we'll see if she wants to taste it on camera. If not, I'll see what she says and let you know. And we might have the hubby and myself as well test out this ghee if it'll cool off enough tonight. If not, I'll try to fit that in. Or at least let you know by the end of the video if we love it or hate it. That way I know to do more or not. Don't know until you try. So please get out there and try new things. And let me know, do you make ghee? Do you can butter? What do you prefer? What's something you'd like to try but you haven't had either the opportunity, the finances, or the guts to try it yet? Alright, so make sure you watch out for my, almost threw some of it on the floor. The dogs would love that. But make sure you watch out for my HP sauce making video. I think I'm gonna get some lunch and cool off a little bit because I try to make it as quiet as I can in here for y'all for the most part, and it's not brutal hot in here today, so I've got all the air off. Okay, so everybody has sealed, so that's awesome. I'm happy with that, and I will go through and get a paper towel with some vinegar and wipe them down because there's some ghee on there. Y'all don't forget, hit like and subscribe. This channel is growing and I very much appreciate each and every one of you who have hit subscribe. It means so much to us and it helps us know what you're liking and what you're not liking if you leave feedback, and we appreciate that. But yeah, keep an eye out for those next videos and let me know what other kind of things you'd be interested in seeing me make or do for lovely rainy days like this when I want to get some things done. I'm always up for ideas on what your interests are. And I'm very game to try out and test out things. So let me know, and thanks so much for hanging out with me. Love you, bye-bye.